What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Facility Management Marketing Podcast. As always, I'm your host, Javier. In this new episode, I got a haircut. If got a haircut this evening after work, man, my hair was getting out of control. It was like over 2 months. In this episode, what I want to do is I want to cover the keys to great social media success. So just the keys to like having and posting great social media content. And so this is important because a lot of times people, when they post social media content, they approach it the wrong way, and it just doesn't tend to do very well. And so I'm going to give you four simple tips on how to make sure that you can post great social media content, okay? And they're really easy, okay? They're straightforward, but when I kind of break it down a little bit more, you'll be like, oh, that makes more sense. I see people doing this. Oh, a lot of folks do this. So what I want you to understand is that social media isn't necessarily like the end-all be-all, like, oh, you have to be doing social media. I want to be on this and I want to be on that. Like, I don't recommend you jumping onto like every social channel and just having this, ambition of being on LinkedIn and on Twitter and on Facebook and on Instagram. Like, if you're kind of new to like actually using social media as a channel to grow your business, I would recommend focusing on one channel and just going all in on that one channel, and that's it. And when you focus on that one channel, then what's going to happen is that you're going to start seeing some success over time on how that channel performs. And then you'll be able to actually attribute success out of that as well too. And the beauty about this strategy is that it's simple to maintain. Okay, so don't overcomplicate this. Don't try to be in too many places. And if you say like, well, my competitors are everywhere, who cares? Are they putting the same kind of content and effort and strategy behind the one channel that you're focusing on? Because if they're not, then you know what? Doesn't matter. Okay, so think about putting high quality content on one channel and then finding like a way to crack the code, if you will, for that one particular channel. Okay, when you figure out how to crack the code on that channel, then all of a sudden what you start doing is you start thinking, you kind of model that out for that channel and you try to extrapolate it, for the future. And you say, okay, cool, this worked. This is working. What didn't work is here. Let me look at another channel and see if I can clone this, this strategy or model it, or see who else is actually doing really well and see what they're doing and see if I can use my strategy that worked on this one channel and use it on this other social channel. And so you're not going to always be posting the same content on both channels. If anything, what you'll do is you'll post similar content. So like, you don't want to have like the same thing posted on all four channels of like LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, for instance. Okay, and the reason is because each audience is gonna consume that differently. Like on LinkedIn likes that you post once a day. On Twitter, you should probably be posting 10 to 15 times a day. You're like, that's insane. Yeah, I know. On Facebook, maybe 2 to 3 times a day, maybe 4 times a day. Okay, on Instagram, 2 to 3 times a day. So there's things that you got to kind of think about. Okay, so when you're posting, don't just post to post, and don't just share the same damn thing on every single channel and be like, I checked the boxes, I did it. No, don't do that. Like, do it the right way. Okay, approach it the right way. All right. So number one on creating great social media content is educate. So you want to be able to educate your audience. So when I say educate your audience, you want to show them like how-tos. Give them some how-tos, like how to do this, how to, how to set up and make it very simple. Like, don't make it super long like you would like a blog, but like very simple, straight to the point bullets. All right. Another like example would be is like how to hire a IFM, how to find a facility service provider in your area, how to interview commercial HVAC companies. Do you see what I'm saying here? Like, give how-tos and then you give steps, right? So that's a good one. Another one you can do in the educate piece is give new data. So data shows that whenever you do 3 preventive maintenances per year, that you're saving X amount of dollars per year. However, your system is still operating at a high efficiency and will last 10 years because of you doing this one critical thing, like something that you know, like, well, wow, I didn't know that was actually possible. So that's really good to do. All right. Also give like insights on just insider tips and stuff like that. Insights are great. Or product updates. So for instance, if there's like, you know, there's a lot of updates going on into like AI and facilities and how some of these places are, are getting powered, or how they're getting warmed, and there's a lot of technology inside these facilities and a lot of AI advancement in this and how it's all managed. Like give some insight, like give some insight about that, and then give product updates. Like, hey, there are these 3 products that are entering the market that are provided by these companies. Let me give you a product review. And then you can do like each post can be a product review on each one. Like if you want to learn more about this, go to this blog post that we've created so you can learn more. You see what's going on there? You can also do comparisons. Comparisons are huge. Like compare and contrast. Like, you know, the difference between a manual thermostat and a AI-based thermostat. Like stuff like that. You know, like those are great comparisons that you can do. Or new information, just new stuff that's coming out. Hey, this is what's coming out into the market. This is what we're learning. Like if you have a pulse on the market, on the industry and facilities, then share that information. So that's number 1, all right, on creating great social media content is educate your audience, all right? The second thing is to engage with your audience. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to tell, like, you know, examples here is like tell personal stories. All right. This is huge, especially on LinkedIn. Like this is going to make you very desirable, very like, hey, I can connect with this person. I trust this person. I understand this person. This person's kind of like me. That changes your perception, if you will. Okay. So you want to tell really good stories, or you want to ask questions. And so when you ask questions and you pose a question, you pose a challenge or something like that, what you're doing is you're trying to bait people to kind of start conversing with you. Now, when I say bait, I don't mean like bait in the bad way. I literally mean like, hey, let me ask you a question. Now I want to see what your thoughts are. Or, hey, let me ask you a question and I'd love to see what, what's the first thing that comes to mind or something like that. Or let me ask you a question. How would you approach this? When you ask questions, then your audience is like, oh, cool. They want me to engage this. And whenever you're engaging and you're asking questions, like people actually, you know, once you start building an audience, they'll, you know, actually engage with you. And now if you're thinking like, hey, you know, I'm just now getting new to this whole like, you know, LinkedIn posting. And so I don't have a really big following and no one really, you know, engages with my stuff. That's easy to fix. Like start engaging with other people's stuff. All right. So just think about that. All right. Or ask people to say, hey, I just posted this on here. I'd love to see if you can have, you know, give me some feedback on what you think or answer this question. And then you would reach out to say 2 or 3 or 4 people. They would probably go to your post and then they would probably, you know, answer your question. All right. Another one is like thought starters. So things that make people like, interesting. And they start thinking beyond what was just in front of them, like thought provoking, if you will. Okay. Give opinions. Like now this is really, really important. A lot of times people are like, well, I don't want to rock the boat. I don't want to piss anybody off. No, you have to have an opinion, because if you don't have an opinion, then no one has anything to listen about. They don't want to engage with you. Like you have to have an opinion about something. I don't care what it is. Okay. Everyone has an opinion, and this is not like a political thing. This isn't like, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about in your niche, in your industry, you have to have some sort of opinion about if you do this, you should do this, and this is why. And someone else is going to probably disagree with you, and that's okay. Okay, like be okay with that disagreement, but always have an opinion. So posing like an opinion piece is great. Controversial topics are huge, okay? I can tell you right now, if you can post controversial stuff that is within your industry, within facilities or properties, then like people are going to be like, this person is really drawing some stuff in, and people are going to get pissed off. Like the difference and maybe you write a topic about this, and I did this before. I actually wrote a blog post and then I actually had this in a podcast interview where self-performing versus hiring out. And a lot of facility managers really believe that self-performing is the only way. Like I remember being at trade shows and people like, you self-perform all over the US, and we're like, no, like then I would never hire you. I'm like, that's the stupidest thing. Like self-performing doesn't necessarily guarantee that you're gonna have a better quality product. Okay, like it doesn't always work like that. Like, does the CEO of McDonald's make all the hamburgers? Hell no. He's got a system that makes it all work. Okay, so like understand that. All right, and then like fill in the blanks. Like ask a question and like and then have like these like fill in the blanks. And those are great ways of people like kind of like putting things in. It can be entertaining, but try to tie it to facilities. Try to tie it to your industry, your space, or who you're trying to attract. All right. So that's the second thing to do on creating great content on social media. The third one is entertain. You want to entertain your audience. I mean, at the end of the day, it is social media. Like you're supposed to be social and it's supposed to be entertaining. It's supposed to be fun. And I know some people are like, well, LinkedIn is a very professional network. Fuck that. Okay. Like, yes, it is a professional network, but like it is starting to get people like myself and younger that are getting on there, and they're not necessarily cussing up storms and stuff like that. But what I'm saying is that they are becoming more entertainers. There's like LinkedIn influencers and stuff. And so you want to be entertaining people. Like you want people to be like, this guy's funny. Like he brings up fair points, but he's funny. Like if you're entertaining, you have an opinion. Okay. And people are going to be like, I want to see what this person's going to do. And I'm not saying like stir the pot in a bad way, but like be entertaining. And so here, like easy, like I've said this before in the engage part, like tell personal stories. I can tell you right now, in the past, I've posted stuff about, my personal life, and anytime I would have an image and then like something about like my wife, that post would get a ton of impressions. I don't know why. I mean, probably because my wife's hot, but like that's I never understood. But anyways, like it was a personal story. Tell jokes, like, have funny memes. Memes are really, really great to kind of get people like, oh, that's funny. I experience that all the time. In the marketing world, we love it. We love memes. And I'm pretty sure there's probably some great memes that you can create for facilities and properties, okay? Let's see what else. Self-deprecating humor. So like making fun of yourself, like, and it's like, I did this last week and don't make this mistake because it did, it caused these 3 things. And so if you don't do this, this is what's going to happen. Like make fun of yourself. I already talked about memes, pop culture references, that sort of stuff. Like anyways, the point is that you can find entertainment and spin it into facilities. It doesn't have to be professional all the time. Okay. And quite frankly, it shouldn't always just be professional, because we all are entertaining in one way, shape, or form. You need to show another side of you, okay? All right, and the last one to making social media great, or making great content on social media, is to empower, all right? You want to empower the people that you are engaging with, that you are in your audience, okay? Empower those folks, empower those facility managers. So celebrate other people, okay? Someone gets a promotion, celebrate them. Hey, I want to give a shout out to so-and-so at, that's the director of facilities. They got promoted to VP of facilities, and they've been in the industry for 15 years, and we just love who he, what he does or what she does. Even though they may not be your customer, and you may have tried to kind of get them into your system, who cares? Empower them. All right. So next one under empowerment is showcase others. Okay. So like show off other people, like, hey, this person implemented this strategy for their facilities and it worked really, really well. All right. Another one is elevating other people. Okay. So find ways to raise other people up as well too. So not just celebrating their successes, but raise them up. Like say, hey, so-and-so is one of the first females to have done this, or so-and-so has joined this organization and they've transformed this and they created this, or so-and-so, like find ways to elevate other people's, all right. And just their brand. And then, list of people and brands. Like essentially talk about like, hey, I love what this brand is doing with their facilities. This is great. I love what this brand is doing with their FM team. This is how they create a community. Like celebrate other people, empower other folks. When you do these 4 things on social media and you do it consistently, you show up on a regular basis, okay, for not just like, a week or 2 weeks. This is like for 12 months. So think of it as like a workout plan. 12 months, you're posting anywhere from 3 to 5, maybe 7 times a week. So if you're doing 3, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Tuesday, Thursday, and a Friday or something like that, whatever. If you're doing 5, then just Monday through Friday or something, and just like take the days off on Saturday and Sunday. But if you're consistent and you're educating, you're engaging, you're entertaining, and you're empowering, you're going to start creating better content, and people are going to be like, this is really cool. I love what they're doing. Okay, so educate your audience to build trust. That is huge, right? Entertain your audience to build connection. That is big. Engage your audience to build a community. That's why it's called social, okay? And empower your audience to build a tribe. When you're doing these things, your social media, your brand is going to be doing much, much better. Now you're going to probably ask me, well, Javier, where should I be posting this? Should I be posting this as a business or as an individual person? Individual person. It should be on your personal brand. And if you're like, well, what if I leave my company, or what if one of my employees leaves me? That's fine. That's their prerogative. They're allowed to leave you. Okay. They don't owe you anything. Okay. They should leave you, and you should celebrate them for leaving. All right. Because if you really wanted to keep them, maybe give them a raise, give them what they need. Find ways to keep great talent, because it's more and more expensive to keep great talent in your business. Okay, so this should be posted on a personal brand, on a personal profile, not on a business profile, because I can tell you right now, you can't build a community usually with a business brand. All right, it's very, very difficult. You're like, well, other big brands do it. Yeah, but they're big brands. They have a lot of money. Okay, they could put a lot of resources into this. Like Pop-Tart, they can totally do it. Okay, IFM facilities, in Texas, they probably have just like a marketing coordinator, okay? And I'm not knocking a marketing coordinator. I'm just simply saying they don't have the resources to have a big engagement strategy. So this shouldn't be only on the business page. This should be on the personal brand page. Who should be posting? Maybe one of the marketing leaders. If you don't have one, then maybe you should hire one, but I would really encourage that piece. Or maybe one of the sales leaders, or if you have a CFO or some sort of executive that is very active on social media and has a great reputation and just a killer personality, then that person should be the brand. And there should be a brand face that represents that company, if you will. And so, because that's what people buy. They don't buy the company. They buy hey, I like you. You're awesome. I want to do business with you. And oh, you work for that company. You know what? I don't really care because you're cool and you deserve my business. That's how people make buying decisions today. Okay, so that's it. That's the 4 ways on how to create great social media content. Hope you enjoyed this. I always ask 2 things or 3 things at the end of my podcast. Number 1, make sure you share this podcast with somebody else, either DM it to someone or send it to SMS or something like that, text message. That would be great, so we can help grow this industry. My goal is to give, and continue to give so that you guys see a ton of value. I'm trying to do these things. I'm trying to educate. I'm trying to engage. I'm trying to entertain. I'm trying to empower people. And this is my platform, how I do it, all right? And then number 2, please make sure you give us a 5-star review on either Spotify or on Google Podcasts. And then number 3, connect with me on LinkedIn. All right, you can find me on linkedin.com/in/Javier Lozano Jr. I would love to kind of just, hear from you and see what you think about some of my episodes. If there's any other episodes that you would like for me to actually talk about or anything else or topics, by all means, tell me, because I'm very engaging with my audience. So thanks a lot and have a great day.